Good morning. It's currently 8th of April. Video dedicated to David Lambert, true life hero. Also would like to say a shout out to all of the other awesome people out there that I also mentioned in this video as well. Thanks to everybody. Thank you all. I appreciate you guys. Hello, my fellow YouTube community. It's been a while since I filmed my little garden. Now I forgot which one's Hass, but let's see if we can remember. All right, thin leaves. This is mango. Now we have two types of avocado plants. Now the Florida avocado, if I remember, has thicker leaves. Correct. These are Florida avocados. I don't like the way this one's looking. I think I might need to put more water on this one. I might change its position. I think it's time I change the position. The first one, it's got beautiful new leaves coming in. Look at that. That's a beauty. Look at that color. These are baby leaves that are just coming out. I think I made a mistake when I trimmed it and I cut the leaves down here, because thinking down the line, remember, these are trees. These are going to become full-grown trees. So eventually this could reach a height of approximately, like, let's say 15 to 20 feet maybe. And then, which means the branches that will bear fruit, if it eventually does bear fruit, good willing, are going to be rather tall. So you're going to probably need a ladder and one of those sticks that they use to bring down the avocados. I did the same thing with this one. Again, I may have made a mistake. I thought it was aesthetically pleasing, and at the time I was not thinking of what would happen down the road when these things become behemoths, you know, as trees tend to do. This one, however, it had the three trunks from the beginning. Mama Vilma cut that one, but because of miracle of nature, it regrew back up. Look, that's where she cut it, and then it regrew back up. And look how many leaves it spawned since. Look, it's got new ones. Look at these new leaves right here. Look at the little bug. Look at those new leaves. That is beautiful. Look at this one right here. If that's not beauty, I don't know what is. These things look kind of ugly, but it's a tree. I thought that it was the radiation from the sun that caused these burns. Not quite too sure. I don't really give it any fertilizer. I give it caffeine as like to combat, how's it called? To combat, let's look up on the top. You got, oh, look at those little leaves right there. And then here we got 1, 2 leaves. The top of this tree is rather pretty big in size. This is 7-Eleven, obviously. If I remember right, that the middle one should be 22nd, and that's Semilla. Now, I remember I named Hass, which I believe this one's Hass. No, this one might be Hass. Oh no, these are bigger. It's hard to tell between the Hass avocado and the Florida avocado, but the mango leaves are definitely longer and thinner. So this is Coralina, or yes, Coralina, I believe I named it. The name has to do with where it was originally born from. So the person who gifted the tree would know the meaning behind the name. I'm not going to say any names, especially now, because I think I've been disowned by my sisters, which I fully understand, because my recovery, even though, one, I don't like to say the amount of time I've been in it, because I did have a couple hiccups with one of my medications one time, but ultimately, I don't know. I can't be a judge of it, because I don't know if it was a matter of wanting to use it for recreational purposes or using it because I really need it, because I'm just grateful to be alive, and I gotta roll with the punches. But I also have to learn how to put my foot down and I tell people, you know, you gotta treat me with respect, because after a certain point, what do I do to deserve to be treated in such a way? Does that make sense? I mean, I treat everybody with as much kindness as I could think. Like, for instance, the princess, anytime she's hungry, I'm right on top of it. I don't complain, or try not to. I mean, I used to sometimes, but lately, I've actually, I don't know if it was mom leaving and me realizing that I have to grow up. I can't, you know, whatever. But lately, I've been more attentive towards her. Like, and when I mean more attentive, I've always been attentive. I mean, I've been more attentive in like a positive light. So in other words, instead of saying, oh, I'll be like, sure, honey, what would you like? And I think a part of her is like a little bothered by it, to be honest, because she's more used to me being like, oh, okay, whatever, you're Mariah. But now I treat her like she's the most precious thing in the world. And speaking of precious, I met Precious today. She works at the pharmacy where I dropped off. Okay, so now this is the lemon plant, which I was given the instructions to add more dirt to it, because if we don't add dirt, it's not going to grow properly. And another thing that I was concerned about is the fact that it's growing, instead of growing upwards, it seems to be growing sideways. So I don't know, I gotta maybe do a Google search, see if I should try to put some resistance on these branches so that it changes, it alters the shape in which they eventually erect. Like, instead of erecting sideways, they erect upwards. I don't like the looks of this right here. Oh, this just came off. All right, let's go toss this out. And while I'm at it, I also try to clean up some of the sidewalk, as you can see. If I don't do before and after pictures, you don't see what I do. But I can show you the garbage can, and then you can see what I've done, because that's like the only evidence. But look at that. All of that was all me, with a little, like, a little hand broom. And I'll show you the broom. I have it out because I had to, it was dirty with dirt, and I had to rinse it with the hose. And now I have it out here drying. I did all that with these two things, this little hand broom and this little dust bucket. And I was doing that to, you know, curbside appeal. I don't think mom and dad noticed it that much, but hopefully maybe the neighbors appreciate it a little bit. If at least the neighbors appreciate it, then, you know, it was worth it, because at the end of the day, you know, we're all in this together. And I don't mean to sound all lovey-dovey or hippie-like, but, you know, that's just the truth. We're all made from stardust. Shout out to my friend Nick. Nick, you're my brother. I love you. And I'm happy for your brother Michael. I hope you're doing great, brother. I'm so happy. Your brother told me your daughter's 7 now, which is awesome. My daughter is turning 12 at the end of this year, believe it or not. Oh, I don't like the look of this dirt. It looks kind of like, let me show mom and ask her, make sure that this dirt is okay. Now, I'm not getting paid to show you this. This is Miracle-Gro garden soil, all-purpose for in-ground use. But it looks like it's been kind of like it needs to be emulsified a little bit. All right, the bag, the inside of the bag is not wet, so it's not heavy. It's been raining a lot. I was shooting early this morning, and not only was it raining, but it was 20 degrees Celsius or 68 degrees Fahrenheit. So I had a jacket on, and I also shot my first video with the Google Chromebook, which actually surprised me, the ease of use because with the Chrome browser, when you shoot a video, Mom, ¿te puedo enseñar algo? Mira la tierra.
Mira, no le digas que juega a mí.
Oh, pero necesito que lo veas.
¿Qué quieres?
Porque se ve como que si está... No se ve fino. Se ve como si son pedazos, como chunks.
Bueno,
entonces lo parto con la mano y es así que... Y así queda bien. Mira, ¿ves?
Sí, no importa.
Esto está bien.
Sí, pártelo con el drill ese que está ahí.
Con la cosa esa de metal que tiene dientes. Okay, bueno. Okay, so the dirt is okay. It just needs to... There's a tool that we have, which I will utilize. I will show you guys. So let's continue adding the dirt. Look, that's my soccer ball. I like that ball, even though it's old. All right, let's put the camera on this thing. I want you to be able to see as I add this dirt. I try to grab my gloves with the least holes, although all my gloves have holes, and I've already gone through heaven knows how many pairs. Okay, so let's get to this. Let's do this. She said to start doing it on the outside, like on the outside of it, and then bring it into the inside. So since the dirt is kind of like in clumps, I'm gonna bring it in on the inside with that tool that I mentioned. I gotta find it. It should be out here somewhere. I asked her how much dirt she wanted in the way I would ask somebody how much soda they want. Like in Colombia, we'll say, do you want like 2 fingers of Coke? And so you put out 2 fingers, that means that they want that much amount. It sounds better in Spanish. It's like, ¿quieres 2 deditos de gaseosa o quieres 2 deditos de Coca-Cola? When you say it in English, I don't know. It just doesn't translate as well. A lot of different things don't translate as well from Spanish to English. They're 2 very different languages. I know they say that Spanish is one of the love language, you know, derived from Latin, along with like Italian, French, and Portuguese, I believe. But I personally like, well, I like Italian because it's super easy. It's a phonetic language, super easy to learn. All you need is like, not even a summer, probably like 2 or 3 weeks there, and you'll start speaking it. And as long as you have some basic vocabulary beforehand, which there's a website, I think it's called freerice.org, and it actually helps you brush up on foreign vocabularies. And I used to play that because it also gave an incentive that every time you got an answer right, they would donate rice to people that need food. Okay, another thing that Mom said she needed was pots. Here's a little pot. Here's a bigger pot. So here's this pot. I'll have this ready for her. Just put this pot right over. These are the gloves that are drying from when I was doing the sidewalk. See, as you can see, they got holes all over the place, which, whatever. And there was a pair of gloves that I'm pretty sure was stolen. What can you do? Oh, here it is. I found it. Okay. Oh, here's another pot too. So there's 2 pots there, plastic pots that you can put 3 plants in each, like that one over there. The avocado trees, I don't really know where would be a good location to plant them because, again, they are trees. They're not plants. So eventually they will grow, and ideally they'll flower one day, just like the one on the side of our house. It gives one summer or one like flowering season, I remember Gabe like about 60 or maybe up to 80 avocados. I don't remember the exact number. It gave so many. And then the last season, I was already so like having to, I stopped working. My wife couldn't walk anymore. So because I had to start walking our daughter, which I don't regret it at all, because the amount of money I was making for the amount of work that I was doing, it was not fulfilling. I actually felt more fulfilled just spending time with my daughter and talking to her every morning and every afternoon. That actually was more fulfilling than making $10 an hour. And the job that I had was, it was good. It was physical. I got to speak to people all day. It was kind of fun. We used to kind of race to get it done fast. But the problem was that for getting paid, minimum wage, and having to wake up at 12:30 in the morning, and then also I'm only working 6 hours tops, so I might only make $60. It's just not, at the end, I'm left with a feeling geez, I mean, don't get me wrong, my boss was great. He would pick me up and give me a ride since I don't have a car. Again, if you don't have a vehicle, you're 100% or more prone to poverty in suburbia where I live. And then when you do have a car, you're enslaved into the system. Like I said in prior videos, you're enslaved into the system of having to pay to get your license. You're enslaved into the system to have to pay for car insurance because it's illegal to drive without insurance. You're enslaved into the system of having to refuel because cars run on combustion engines, and the ones that don't, the ones that are electric, you're enslaved to listen to your navigation center. That way, one, you can keep track of your battery performance because that can depend on the weather. And two, you can keep track of when you're going to need to recharge soon. And three, you can keep track of where the nearest charging station is. And now, I don't believe those charging stations even accept cash. So if you don't have plastic, which that's another form of slavery. The only plastic I have is Cash App and what's the one called that Elon Musk started with his buddies? PayPal. Yeah, Cash App and PayPal. And those are just prepaid cards. I had one bank account once in my life, which I opened when I was around 15. That was when I first started working. It was a checking account by a bank called Washington Mutual. They got bought out by Chase. Chase is owned by that Morgan Stanley guy, I think. And it was free checking, which is a thing of the past. It doesn't exist anymore. Until this day, from, let's see, I was 15, so about 30 years has passed since I got that card. And I still remember the checking account routing number. It was 388-358-5223. I memorized that number and I was happy with the services. But then one day I was visiting Colombia. I was visiting Medellin, to be exact, which was a city I'd never been to. And I went to by myself. And then I decided to get some whores. And not the regular kinds, the weird ones. The ones that, you see in those weird type of pornographic materials. But whatever. I was young and dumb. And my girl sees this. She's just, I don't know. She gets mad at things for some reason. And things that happened in the past. Or yesterday I was talking to a friend. And it really got me upset because my friend asked me, so how are things with you and your girl? And I was actually saying good things. I was saying like, yeah, that, you know, it's funny that with time and effort, you know, when you put in work, things actually get better, and they get better in ways that you never like would have thought. And I feel like that has happened between us. I mean, don't get me wrong, we still gotta work every single day on trying to, you know, maintain stability and being kind and you know, but I've looked at her in a new light, you know, like I said in another one of my recordings, that, you know, I looked at her and I said, you know what, this is the woman that she's going to outlive me, and it's a real woman, you know. I'm blessed to have somebody that actually puts up with me and loves me as much as she does. So why would I want to ruin that? I never did to begin with anyways, but I'm not gonna continue talking about that because actions speak louder than words. So yeah, so when I was in Medellin, I ended up getting robbed. So I pulled out my plastic, I made a withdrawal, and apparently I went over the fee. And I didn't get to the States on time to make a deposit. So because I did that, they defaulted me, and they do that because by that time, that plan, that free checking plan, was no longer offered. So they wanted me to sign up for a new plan. And I already knew that anytime something new is offered, it's not going to be better for the consumer. It's going to be better for the business. Just like everything in life, you know, we get new laws that are passed. They're not going to be better for us. They're better for the corporations. You know, corporations spend millions of dollars lobbying, which is just a fancy way of saying bribing. They bribe Congress, they bribe the House of Representatives with a fancy word called lobbying. It's what white people, when they committed crimes, they didn't say, oh, they were smuggling illegal alcohol. No. What they said, okay, let me show you the dirt, how it came out. We're gonna have Mama Vilma inspected, and that's it. This is the melon tree. No name for this one. No name for the avocado baby over there. Only for Coralina and for Haas. And then I'm gonna change the positions of Semilla 22nd and 7-Eleven. Between Semilla and 22nd, I'm a little confused. I kind of forget which one's which, but I want to say this one's Semilla. And now, yeah, so those are my trees, which I love just looking out the window and seeing them. I got to get rid of that bike. That bike was gifted to me by my neighbor who moved out of this neighborhood. They live 1, 2, 3, 4 houses down on this side, the very corner house of this block, right? And it's a corner house. The old man passed away, bless his soul. So his daughter, she's about my age, she had to come by and then take care of mom. Mom, you know, was suffering from dementia. You know, don't get old, people. So she ended up sending mom to an assisted care living facility, I guess, you know, because maybe it was starting to become too much. I don't know. I honestly don't believe in that. And that's one of the things that, if I'm blessed with the opportunity, if my parents one day say, David, we want you to take care of us, that's going to be something that I would love to do. Because, like I said, all the money that is offered for doing remedial jobs, it's not fulfilling. I'd rather pick up a hobby or volunteer, okay? But if my parents say, David, we want you to take care of us, you know, oh, David, I lost mobility, I can't get up, I need to wipe my butt, No problem. More than happy to. My very good friend Dave, he took care of his father who had a stroke when he was very young. But Dave turned out to be an excellent person. He's a very caring individual. He has opened his home to not just his girlfriend, but to his girlfriend's family. And to see somebody do that and be so selfless is inspirational. So Dave, if you're watching this, I love you, man. And I'll never forget, man, all the time we spent together, man. You even to this day, I still think of you as a mentor. And even Rob, I texted him today because I wanted him to put in a good word with the grocery manager here at 1570, the old 213. And because like I've been saying in my videos, I would like to get a job at Publix. I also wrote an email to the principal at the school because it's our daughter's last year at the elementary school, so I'm kind of sad she's leaving. Principal, wonderful leader, wonderful staff. You know, she's excellent with all her staff. She's the most positive attitude. I don't think I ever saw her with a frown on her face a single time. Always smiling. Every time she leaves, she does the messages. Her voice is always high-spirited. She's, you know, she's the type of individual that job was made for her, and she excelled at it amazingly. And our daughter had a great time at that school, thank goodness. So one day at a time, I told her I was proud of her. I told her, don't let it get to your head, because, you know, just because I'm proud of you today doesn't mean that you're not gonna mess up tomorrow. But for now, I am proud of you, honey. I told her just like that. And we're gonna see what happens. I'm just glad that Walter C. Young now has uniforms. And I'm gonna go, people, because I made a video prior to this. I was introducing an idea about a service that I want to start doing, because if I don't get employed, I need to start making cash. Mom and dad don't like me to go out and ask for charity because, I don't know, I guess they don't look at it, they think it's something bad. But in all honesty, I'm trying to get work. Oh yeah, I was supposed to apply at a place, like at this auto parts store. I gotta go there and apply. I've only really applied like McDonald's, Publix, this other supermarket. I did get an interview at Dollar Tree, but with the wages they were paying, it's better. Like I said, I get more fulfilled staying at home, spending time with my family. You know, time is the most precious resource, worth more than any amount of money. And at the end of the day, wages in this country, they're pathetic. Okay, from what I understand, like in Japan, for instance, they don't like foreigners, and I can see why, because their culture is completely different. But the CEO of a company in Japan is not going to make in 1 year what the lowest member of his company will make their whole lifetime. Their salaries are more like aligned. It's not like the CEO makes like a astronomical amount while the lowest paid employee won't make that much their whole life working. It's not like that over there. So, you know, what happened here? I know what happened. Capitalism. All right, thank you for watching. Ciao. Have a wonderful day. All right, I just learned how to do this recently. I'm going to try to put a subscribe button here so you can subscribe to this new channel. And once again, if you made it to this to the very end right now, you are a legend. Please hit the like button and subscribe if you're not. Thank you.